Chloe! It's the first day of Booktubeathon. I've just got back from work. It's boiling and I'm miserable. I hate hot weather. David and I both hate hot weather. I know I'm inside with sunglasses on, but this is outside and I have just been outside, so that's why I'm wearing it. This is my reading setup I wanted to show you. Hold on, I'm going to turn the camera around. This is out on my balcony now. I've put that... There's a little monster. Now I've put this blanket here, which looks pretty skanky, but it is providing me some shade in my reading area. Look at that little footstool to put on. There. Minnie's sitting in the shade. There's something down there that she's all excited about, but I don't know what it is. What is it? What's down there that's exciting? So this is where I've been sitting and reading. And this book wasn't actually on my TBR. This was a book, The Glorious Heresies, by Lisa McInerney, that I've been reading. Minnie, what are you coming down here for? That I was hoping to finish in time before Booktubeathon run, but I didn't. I'm literally I'm on page 340 of 370, so I'm going to finish it today. So this, I think, is going to be my 7th book, because I don't think I'm going to get time to finish The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie, which was my other 7th book, because I've got a few other really, really big ones in there as well. So David and I aren't actually doing anything tonight. We might go out looking for Pokemon later. The main plan is to sit and read and have a nice evening, so I'm going to be doing that. Sorry if it's really loud out here, by the way. We live by a really busy road. It's quite nice on the corner, but that is a busy road there. Look, you can see all those little cars sneaking. Get away with ya. So yeah, that's the plan. So this, I'm really loving it. It took me a while to get into. But really, really loving it now. Finding it really like gripping now. Like I really want to know what, now all the stories are sort of like linking together, and I'm much more aware of who the characters are and things like that. It's becoming much more enjoyable, and yeah, I'm really, really pleased I picked it up. I wouldn't have picked it up if it hadn't won the Women's Bailey's Prize for Fiction, so very, very happy about that. We're reading this for book club this month, my online book club. So, and I put a status out last night saying, 2 weeks to go until we talk about it. How's everyone getting on? And a lot of people have said it takes a bit of time to get into, but once you're into it, I'm enjoying it, and that's what I thought. So yeah, so that's day one. Might be in my pyjamas later, starting my next book. I'm hoping to start Trigger Warning today as well by Neil Gaiman, which is my yellow book. Can I be bothered to go and get it? No, I can't be bothered to go and get it. That's my yellow book, and that's short stories. So I'm hoping to start that. And then, what's you doing, Minnie? There's a little munchty. Ah, kitty cat. She's out on the balcony. She can only come out here when we are here. Otherwise, she's a naughty cat. I don't think she'd jump off, but I just don't like not being out here with her. Anyway, that is day one. Booktubeathon. Keep saying Genrethon. Apologies. See y'all tomorrow. And as if things couldn't get any more exciting, David is about to start walking. There he is. He's coming home from work. Are you waving at us? Woo! Look at what a lovely person, walking home all posh with his little shirt on. There he is. Hello, Boop. Who's that? It's a video. Say hello. Hello.
Be on Booktube, Benny.
Hey, little guy. And over there. And wave, Amy.
Hi.
I'm with Amy.
It's real life in 3D. Yes.
Hello! I've just popped by to see Amy on the way home from work. It's very exciting. Met Amy for the first time, which is exciting. We're just talking about Genrethon and things. I'll talk about this. Then I don't have to film when I get home. That'll be nice. I finished The Glorious Heresies today. I really, really enjoyed it. And I've just started on... I started on my lunchtime today. Trigger Warning by Neil Gaiman, which I think is going to be a bit of a slog. I really enjoyed the second story. The second story was about a guy who had made up a girlfriend when he was at school, and then he was on a he wasn't on a hen do, he was on a stag do, and one of his friends is like, oh, I got chatting to Cassandra the other day, she messaged me on Facebook, and he was like, Cassandra, I made up Cassandra, oh my god. Then his mum bumps into Cassandra in Tesco's and stuff. It's actually really good. But that was a good story. The first story I wasn't into, and the second story I feel like is a bit of a slog. So the second story was great. Apart from that, I'm a bit like, I don't know what it's going to do. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish it in time. It's quite a big one. I've got lots going on, but it's going okay. Amy, let's hear what you've been reading.
Alright, Booktube. So I read Bluebeard by Angela Carter today, which was like 40, 50 pages in a tiny book. I haven't got it here, but imagine, use your imagination. Cool.
I'm using
and
it.
It was good. I liked it, but it wasn't great. It's fairy tale retellings, but
Lots
it was
of.
fine. Yeah, it was fine. It was alright. I finished reading The Tidal Zone by Sarah Moss, which was amazing, which I could count.
I can't wait to read that.
Started reading Girl Meets Boy by Ali Smith, and I like it. I love it. I love her generally. And now lovely Lauren has got me Saga, so I can be cool and part of the booktube posse.
I'm
that
just so
reads
pleased
Saga.
that someone else hasn't read Saga.
I
I thought
know.
I was the only person in
We
the
could be
world
late
that
to
hadn't
the
read
party
Saga.
together, like sidling in like,
Yeah.
Has
Oh,
anyone
you
read
really
it?
want to check out
Anyone read
this?
Saga? Yeah. It's alright, we've done it now. Well, nearly. So yeah,
We
that's
are.
me so far.
Well done.
So it's going better than I thought. Lots of short books, which feels cheeky, but that's part of it. And it's happening.
And
So
look at this
I
guy
like
over
it.
here.
Frankie, are you taking part? You're on Booktube, Frankie.
All shy now, aren't
Oh
they?
my god.
I finished a book. I just went and had a nice cold bath. I've got my Harry Potter t-shirt and I've got no trousers on, so don't go looking down at my legs. I finished a book. I just read an entire book in the bath. I've also been continuing with Trigger Warning. I read finished a short story I was reading yesterday and read one, so I'm up to page 71 now, so about a third of the way through that, so there's still chances that could be finished. I also started Girls and really cracked on with Girls today. Read some on my lunch and then read some. Me and David went to Nando's after work and then to watch Ghostbusters, which we both really loved it, didn't we? We were both really impressed. It was really, really good. Girl power all the way, and just bloody more films should have there was just 4 awesome ass-kicking women just getting shit done, just going for it. No, like, backstory about, oh, I love this guy and blah, 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 blah. Like, just amazing women just doing what they do best, kicking ass. So, yeah, but anyway, in that dose, I read a little bit more of the Girls while David was ordering. So I'm up to page 50. Going to read a bit more of this in bed tonight. Very, not as I thought it would go. I thought it would be straight into the cult. This is about a woman who was in a cult, which is associated. It's based on the Manson murders that happened in 1969. So it goes into the story quite a way that I like. Sorry, my arm's getting really tired, so I'm gradually going to be moving down. In that it introduces the chapter Evie. It introduces the character Evie like in later life, and then someone asks her about the cult, and then she's sort of like remembering it to herself. So I quite enjoy that. That always reminds me of Wuthering Heights because that's the narrative they use in there. So very enjoyable. And then the book that I read in the bath, which was God, my arm is getting tired, you know. The book that I read in the bath was Very Good Lives by J.K. Rowling. This is J.K. Rowling's speech that she did to Harvard University in 2008, and it's called The Fringe Benefits of Failure and the Importance of Imagination. This is just a really nicely published book. I'm having to do it with one arm, but it's basically like black, red and white throughout, with a little bit of speech on one page and then a little drawing on the next page all throughout like this. Really good. She knows her shit, doesn't she? She's very good. And yeah, that's it. It's just an extra little thing. So this is the book that's written by my favourite author. So that is book 2 of Booktubeathon. Keep going to call it Genrethon. Of Booktubeathon done so far. So really pleased. So day 3, book 2 finished, but started on 2 other books. So on target. Hello. Today is day 4. I'm so confused with the days this week because it's just been a really long week of like sleeping when I can because it's too hot and just like it feels like it's been daylight forever. I'm all thrown off on like what day is what and whether it's a Thursday. It's Thursday, so it's the 4th day of Booktubeathon. No books are going to be finished today. Just about to go over to my cousin's house for dinner. We're practicing Greek food this month because we're doing Greek supper club, and so no book's going to be finished, but I have made a bit of progress with my other 2 books. So Trigger Warning by Neil Gaiman, which is a series of short stories. I've read a short story on my lunch today, and I just read a short story and a half in the bath, and we'll finish off one of those short stories. So I'm about a third of the way through that now, so I've got high hopes that I will get this finished this week. This has been a bit of a surprise to me, actually. I was a bit like, I really wasn't looking forward to reading it, and we're reading it, didn't mean to just flip you off there, by the way, and we're reading it for book club at work, and I was like, I don't know if people at work are going to like this, but there's been a few treats in there, actually. I enjoyed the story about Cassandra. I've just read a really clever story, which was like basically the answers of a questionnaire called Orange, And yeah, you get a bit of a story from that. I don't really want to spoil it because it's quite funny. It's about a girl who really likes fake tanning herself. And yeah, that was a bit of a treat. And now I'm just on another one which is a bit mental. It's 12. It's sort of like 12 short stories told throughout the year. Oh, David's shower's squeaking in there. So that's been okay. I've read a bit more of The Girls as well on my lunch because the short story I read on my lunch wasn't that big. So I read a bit more of The Girls. So I'm about this much through The Girls now, so probably about a quarter of the way through. This is just picking up. As I said yesterday, I'm really enjoying the narrative of the fact that it's a woman revisiting it for herself. So you know that she makes it. Do I want to say makes it? Like, yeah. So that's really good. So very, very doing quite well, although no books finished today. Still quite, I'm going to get comfy now. I'm going to relax. So although no books finished today, quite good in the old progress side of things. Tomorrow night is Friday night and I'm in on my own. Yay! David's going out with the work do. So I'm hoping to get one of these finished, and I'm also going to read Ethel and Ernest, which is the book that I said that I would be reading after sunrise, sunset. After sunset. That's from Sex and the City, by the way. So I'll definitely get that read and hopefully finish one of these off tomorrow as well, which will be really great. And then Saturday, nothing during the day, and then working in the evening. So we'll get hopefully a book done then as well. And Sunday is a day of relaxing. Oh God, this is really annoying. Oh, that's part of my high five. So that's what's going on. So I hope everything's going well with you guys, and see y'all tomorrow. Oh, I'll be in my pajamas then. It'll be beautiful. I'll be cozy. Cozy. Stop saying cozy. It's 36 degrees. Look at my little pigtails. It's so pathetic. Hello. I haven't vlogged for 2 days. It's absolutely shocking. I've just been so busy. We worked last night, and then Friday night we actually didn't do anything, but I don't know why I didn't vlog. David thought he was going out on a night out with his work colleagues, and then no one ended up going out, so we got KFC by himself. Sad, isn't it? He was okay, it was fine. I have finished 2 books since I last spoke to you. The first one was on Friday night. I read Ethel and Ernest, a true story, whilst bathing, and then sort of sat here. What was my reaction when I finished the book, David?
Like a relative had died.
Like a relative had died. I burst into tears. It was very, very sad. Very cute. Very...
Not a close relative, a close relative.
A close relative. Like a close relative, you think?
Yeah.
I did cry a lot. It was just sort of like the last 2 pages. I was just like, face crumple. And then lots and lots of crying. But yeah, it was good, and it was a quite cute little insight into sort of historical and political things that have been going on in the UK since 30s even, since the 1930s. So yeah, and I've literally just this second finished The Girls by Emma Cline. This was fine. It didn't blow me away like I hoped it would do, but it was enjoyable. It was very in keeping... I'm trying to keep my arm up because it's very heavy. Very in keeping with sort of summer, made it very... epitomises summer, and had I done the summer reading tag once I finished this would definitely be the book that I would say that epitomises summer. There's a lot of talking about the heat, and you can almost imagine yourself there. There's a lot of... like, considering how big it is, it's a hardback, so considering how big it is, there's a lot of sort of... character building and setting building, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I enjoy that, but very little action. So I think if you were coming to this thinking, oh, this is based on the Manson murders, the actual murder section is probably about a double page, maybe even just over a double page, but the rest of it's like building around that. And I think I wouldn't, not that I was going to that because of the Manson murders, but I think if people were looking for that, this is not the place to go. Nevertheless, I did enjoy it. I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed it. It just didn't blow me away. So it's Sunday. As far as I know, we've got Booktubeathon running until tomorrow. So David and I have got a lovely day tomorrow. We're going to the park. We're going to do some reading. I'm hoping to finish off. I'm going to make a good go of this as well. At Neil Gaiman's Trigger Warning. I'm over halfway through this now as well. I've still got Jamaica In and Joy to read as well. We're going to watch Joy tonight. That's the book to film adaptation, although I've cheated a bit because I've got the screenplay because it never was a book. It's a true story. So I'm going to be watching that tonight and reading that. That shouldn't take me too long. I might even have a little read of it in the bath a bit later on. And then Jamaica In and Trigger Warning. I'd like to get one of those finished by tomorrow. So I don't think I'm going to do 7 books, but I definitely think I'm going to do 6. There's David. Little wave. And we're just about to watch some Prison Break. So we will crack on with that. Bye-bye. vlogging, just because life got in the way, really. So yes, throughout the week I vlogged, and you can basically, my wrap up now, you're going to recognise some of these books from the books that I was vlogging during the week. I didn't finish 7 books, which is a pain, and there's 2 books on my sort of wrap up that I read during the week, which doesn't really ascribe to any sort of challenges, but I still managed to read 6 books in a week, which is amazing. And I've sort of been in a bit, I wouldn't say slumpy, but I'd read quite a few big books, and books that have taken me quite a long time throughout July. So this sort of like 6 book humph at the end has been wonderful. So I will start with in the order in which I read them, and then I'll sort of talk you through the challenges that they were ascribed to. And then I'll talk you through the books that I'm still reading, and then the book that I didn't manage to read. So the first book that I finished in the week of Genrethon was the week of Booktubeathon was The Glorious Heresies by Lisa McInerney. So I was already reading this at the beginning, and I sort of, once I finished it, I was like, oh lovely, I can use this as my read 7 books, which previously was ascribed to Muriel Spark, The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie, which I didn't get round to reading at all. So that's that talked about. I didn't get round to reading this. So I was like, oh great, this can be the 7th book that I've read. I really enjoyed this. Gangsters in Ireland, and in particular one gangster's mother who accidentally kills a man who intrudes into her house, and then you feel all these sort of like interlinking family, one family with this family, one friend with this friend, and it all sort of comes together. I really enjoyed this. It was sort of like, a lot of people said to me, oh, it's really darkly humorous, and at no point was I like, ha 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 ha, but there was like points in it I was like, oh, well, they've sort of skimmed over that in a dark way. So I really like this. I gave it 4 stars. Second book is Very Good Lies by J.K. Rowling. So this comes under the challenge of read a book by your favourite author. J.K. Rowling is one of, if not my favourite author. I love Harry Potter, I love Casual Vacancy, I love her Robert Galbraith series, and I really love this as well. That was the second book I finished. The third book I finished was this book, which is Raymond Briggs's Ethel and Ernest, A True Story. God, I can't even think I could talk about this because it will make me cry. I really, really cried because this is a graphic novel. This fell under... a book to read after sunset, because I read it in the bath when the sun had gone down. So this is a graphic novel about a couple, their whole entire lives, from when they meet one another to having a child to their deaths, because they do die in this. And it was just really sad but really heartfelt, and a nice little open window into sort of things that have happened in the UK in the past since like 1930 through to 1970. So really enjoyed this, but really, really cried and found it really sad. And thank you to Amy for lending it to me, and I will be giving that back to you. Tear stained. The fourth book I read was also a book that wasn't on my TBR, and that was, I finished listening to the audiobook of Moranifesto by Caitlin Moran, which I adored. Now, I really, really love this. When I first started listening to it, I was like, oh, I'm a bit bummed that it's not Caitlin Moran dictating it, that's from work, narrating it, because I thought that would really bring something to it. But regardless of that, I loved it. It's a collection of her columns from the Times. Some highlights in those were the one about Ant and Dec, which was just so lovely and adorable and really brought tears to my eyes on the drive. Who don't know who Ant and Dec are. Ant and Dec are a pair of TV presenters. They are in their 40s, early 40s probably, and they've been around since like I was young. Like they were on TV programs when I was younger and things like that. They're always together, and they're Saturday night TV show hosts, and they're just really nice chaps. And they sort of cash in, and what Caitlin Moran was saying is that they cash in on the funny and the silly, and there's no like exploitation, because we have a lot of like, so we have X Factor over here, which may happen in the US. In fact, I think it does, or it might be Pop Idol, which sort of like it's like shows weeks and weeks of these awful auditions of people who are clearly like not all there, and just sort of like exploiting them, and like who's crap at singing and you're really crap at singing. And the same with Strictly Come Dancing, which is a programme I absolutely love, which is like, oh, so-and-so's really awful and she's falling out with her partner and blah blah blah. And Ant and Dec just have none of that. It's just nice, funny, silly, sort of poking fun at themselves. And this article just made me really cry. And there was also an article about the Olympics, which I really, really loved as well. A couple of in there about the Olympics, about David Bowie as well. And the one about Russell T Davies, who is a writer, and he wrote a lot of the he wrote Doctor Who, which is a really successful series here in the UK. And it's talking about his partner who had a brain tumour, and there was only a 3% chance of him surviving, and so you sort of get told the story believing that he didn't make it, and then at the end he did make it, and it just makes me feel so happy even now. And it was just a really nicely pulled together set of essays. I absolutely adored it. 4 stars. Really loved it. Could have been improved because I wish Caitlin Moran had narrated it, but also there was a few sort of like not dud ones, but ones that I didn't enjoy as much as the others, so I can't give it 5 stars, but really enjoyed that. So that wasn't in my TBR, and it doesn't get it's not to do with any of the challenges, but it was a book that I finished during Booktubeathon, so that counts surely. So that's number 4. Number 5 was The Girls by Emma Cline, which was a book that you are reading because of Booktube. This has been really doing the rounds on Booktube. I finished it yesterday. I enjoyed it. It didn't blow me away. It was fine. Like, I enjoyed the storyline. I thought it was really well written. It was very atmospheric in terms of like summer. I really felt like I was there. That's probably something to do with the bloody hotness that's going on here as well. But really enjoyed this. The 6th book I finished today, and that is Joy. It's a screenplay by David O. Russell. So one of the challenges was to read a novel and watch the film adaptation. So I cheated a bit and read the screenplay, but we did also watch the film of Joy. We watched it last night. David, what did you think of the film of Joy?
Excellent.
David's the film man. It was enjoyable, wasn't it?
It was very good.
I love Jennifer Lawrence anyway. It's a nice feel-good film, although there's like complete ups and downs. Like, she prevails in the end, and that is the enjoyable part. But the screenplay is identical to the book, so identical to the film, so it was enjoyable. I got about halfway through the screenplay last night before we watched the film, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember this bit, and then when I finished it off today, I was like, oh, I remember that bit from the film. So it was an interesting sort of like reading experience, something that I hadn't done before, read a screenplay and watched the film instantly, but it's a bit of a cheat on the challenge. But however, I did read that as well. So that's 6 books that I finished during the Booktubeathon week, these 5 and then the audiobook. And then the 2 books that I am currently reading, that I have started and will finish at some point this week, but which won't count towards my Booktubeathon week, but do count towards my reading because I will read them. The first one was a book with yellow on the front cover. Well, this is the yellowest book I could ever get. This is Neil Gaiman, Trigger Warning, which is Short Fictions and Disturbances, it says here. I am pretty far through this. I'm about 75% through. There's been parts of this where I'm like, oh yeah, I really like this, and then the next story I'll be like, oh, I don't really like this story, but I really like this next one. So I feel a bit hit and miss about it. The last book challenge was to read a book which was older than you. This book is 50 years older than me. It's Jamaica Inn by Daphne du Maurier, and I only started it today. However, I have read 2.5 chapters, and I'm really enjoying it. It's very atmospheric. I read the first chapter to David when we were sat in the park today. He fell asleep. And yeah, it's really atmospheric, and I think it's going to be really great read. However, I do wish I was reading it in November like it is set, because I think the wind and the rain and the bleakness of the weather really adds to this. So reading this in like a hot swelter in summer probably isn't like the best time to read it. But however, I am really enjoying this, and I'm looking forward to reading it a bit more. And it's about time I got round to reading some Daphne du Maurier, because I've been saying I'm going to do it for months. Very pleased. Although I didn't finish 7 books, I did finish 6. These are the guys I finished, plus Moranifesto. So Booktubeathon went really well, and I really enjoyed doing it. It's the 2nd readathon that I've ever done. The only other one, which you might have heard me mentioned at some point this week, was Genrethon, which I am part of the organising committee for. So it was really fun to be able to do it. I didn't join it with any of like the Twitter sprints and things. I was at work for a lot of them. And although I was busy every night, I still did manage to get all the books done. So I'm very pleased, and I hope everybody else had a good Booktubeathon. Let me know how you got on. Let me know if you've read any of these books and what you thought of. And I will see you all again Sunday, which feels millions of years away because at the moment it's Monday. I'll see you then. Bye!